What's up, Lucky Lefty Nation? This is the Lucky Lefty Podcast. I am your guy, Shaun Davis. Of course, that guy right there, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. As always, we are brought to you by Onora Whisky, featuring Onora Whisky. Go to OnoraWhisky.com, get that premium American whiskey. Also, you need to go to OnoraWhisky.com today, buy you a bottle, and then post it on social media. Tag at Lucky Lefty Pod or tag Malik Zaire 8 or at Overtime Malik on Twitter or Instagram with the receipt so we can put you in the drawing on Friday for Fiesta Bowl tickets. That's right. Lucky Lefty Podcast is giving away Fiesta Bowl tickets. The drawing will be Friday live on the show. All you need to do is buy a bottle of that premium American whiskey. Go to OnoraWhisky.com. Take a picture of you or the receipt or you with the bottle. Send it to Malik and tag it at Lucky Lefty Pod on Instagram or Twitter, or at Overtime Malik on Instagram and at Malik Zaire 8 on Twitter. Tag any one of those on Instagram and Twitter, and you'll be in the drawing to win Fiesta Bowl tickets. Hey, that's what we do right here. We spin it different on the Lucky Podcast. Great show today. We look forward to having a special guest at the top of the second hour. Former Notre Dame wide receiver and now Double A affiliate for the Los Angeles Angels, Torii Hunter Jr. He's going to be joining us. And I didn't know that he was originally from the Bluff. So I have a lot of questions. You know, I got a lot of family down in the Bluff. I'm going to ask him about that. And he's going to settle this for us, dude. We're going to get Torri to settle the oatmeal raisin chocolate chip for us.
I don't think you're going to find anybody my age agreeing with no oatmeal raisin.
Yo, of course, we're going to have the petty story of the day. We'll load up the petty train. We got some good news. We got some videos from Cam Hart, Mike Mickens, and Chris O'Leary talking about some very important things. Yesterday, let's just start off with this before we get to talking about the offensive line of Notre Dame versus the defensive line of Oklahoma State. Yesterday, we kind of ended the show and we were talking about which positional group will be the breakout positional group in 2022. And, you know, I went out there on a limb, and a lot of you guys that were listening and chimed in later on when you watched the show said, Shaun, man, yeah, you took a big swing with that one. But what we've seen, and I will get to Chris O'Leary in a minute, what we've seen is Notre Dame defensively under Marcus Freeman they're really playing positionless football in recruiting. And even if you look at the linebackers they took in this class, three of the linebackers, one played wide receiver and was all state and led the state in receiving yards. And then the other two were starting quarterbacks and won championships playing starting quarterback and linebacker. So Marcus Freeman and the defensive side of the ball, and this might go for the entire roster as they move forward in recruiting, they're really about going out and getting the best athletes. And once we get them, we'll figure out how to get them on the field.
Yeah, I think that's the future of what football is heading to. I didn't know that the all-stars were all-stars on both sides of the football. I've seen that happen a lot more when I was coaching high school football, is that everybody's playing everything. So our quarterback will play safety.
Yeah.
You know, our D lineman will play tight end. Receivers is playing some corner and some linebackers. So this is the backyard mixed with all the evolution of the athlete as it's been going. Like, you know, we started to see it in the quarterback position with guys like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. Now you're seeing safeties that can play linebacker and linebackers that can play DN like a Micah Parsons. So you're seeing the evolution, the value of guys being positionless, and it makes it hard to scheme against that. So going to what Marcus Freeman is doing, he's making his defense more bulletproof, having guys being able to play different positions and guard different matchups. It's sort of like we talked about the NBA is positionless. Everybody switching. The 1 through 5 can guard each other. And that's similar to what we're trying to form here. 1 through 5 can guard each other. We can go heavy run stop, and we can be able to have some length to break up some of the pass game, make some plays down the field, and also try to get turnovers. The game is about turnovers, and the
Mm-hmm.
way you do that is with freaky athletes, and that's what we're being able to build. And I think a lot of it too is based off of that Jeremiah Rusu build, a guy that can play all three linebacker positions and some of secondary. So that's been very attractive for scouts. And when guys see guys coming down the line like a Jeremiah Rusu, a Jalen Smith, a Romeo, a Quora, the list goes on. A Dalen Hayes, a Khalid Kareem. Those are guys that can play multiple different things, and it's worked out for them on the professional side as well.
And a lot of people get caught up with 40 times, especially when it comes to playing DB or wide receiver. But when you're looking at, especially a defensive back, you want instincts. Like
Yeah.
if you can run, that's cool. But when the ball's in the air, if you can't make a play on the ball or recognize that the ball is in the air and be able to cover and at the same time know when to put your left hand up or know when to put your right hand up, that's instinctual. And you have to be a competitor. Those are the traits that you're looking for. And when you see guys like Xavier Watts come from the offensive side of the ball, go to rover, and then go to safety and find his niche. When you see guys like that, in the past, we talked about, you see a guy like Kamari Russell, who came to Notre Dame originally as a running back, wide receiver, ends up starting as a freshman due to injury at cornerback and stays there for the rest of his career and goes to the NFL in that position. He's an instinctual football player. He's a playmaker. Might not be the fastest, but he's a playmaker. And that's what you need in those type of positions, guys that are instinctual, that can see the field and be physical and make plays.
And that's what you also get when you talk about the identity of the team. Marcus Freeman was going into these meetings and these press conferences talking about the identity being competition. And when you're bringing in these positionless guys, it's really like you're throwing in a bunch of fish in the barrel and
Yeah,
trying to see who's the top dog, and it'll figure itself out. So a guy like JD Bertrand, he's in the mix with safeties, he's in the mix with linebackers. So
everything.
the competition in that defensive room is going to be great because now it's about who can make the most plays, who are screen poppers on defensive film and what we're looking at. And then those are the guys that are going to play. I don't think it's going to be, all right, I got a safety group, I got a linebacking group. It looks like you're just going to have a defense that's who's running the fastest to the ball, who's making open field tackles. And that's and
All right.
that's an easy and awesome way of going about coaching a new way of defense. Plus, offensively, we should take the same type of route. You talk about screen poppers and making dynamic plays on offense. Getting guys like a Michael Mayer and getting guys like a Kevin Austin and a Jaden Price. These are the type of athletes that we're looking for moving forward, and it has to go to the quarterback position as well. I think having somebody that can move around, even catch a couple of Philly specials, just to add it to the repertoire, just to make us more dangerous is something that is really the trend in which we're heading in Notre Dame football.
Yeah, I want to share something right quick before we get to Chris O'Leary. Dude, check this out. So Fox Sports put this up, and this is according to 247 Sports. The most talented New York Six Bowl teams. These are just the teams in the college football playoffs, NY6 Bowls. Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 4, who? Who's number 4? Who's the fourth most talented team?
The people we always thought, the
Can't
usual
recruit.
suspects.
You can't recruit. They don't have talent. The narrative we hear all the time, Notre Dame's 4th. Michigan is 5th. Ole Miss 6th. Utah, which is shocking, but the success they've had, you would have to think they've done very well getting talent. They're 7th. Pitt, 8th. Michigan State, Mel Tucker, 9th. Baylor's 10th. Oklahoma State is 11th. So once again, we talk about this, and everybody talks about, man, we think this is going to be a tough game. That defensive front is tough. Notre Dame it's not even close. Notre Dame's more talented than Oklahoma State. And it's
Yes,
not close.
it's not close.
It's not close. Cincinnati comes in 12th behind them. Now
And they're not close.
the difference between Cincinnati, in my opinion, and Oklahoma State is one, they have 2 lockdown corners.
Yes.
That means everything. The other difference is this isn't the same Kevin Austin. This isn't the same Kevin Austin. I don't know where my bro just went. He just dropped out quick. Kevin Austin is a totally different dude going into this bowl game than he was going into that Cincinnati game. So with that being said, look at that again. Alabama, Georgia, screen poppers. Ohio State, screen poppers. Now, look at the difference when you go from the top 3 down to Notre Dame and the rest of the field. 1 5-star for Notre Dame, 3 5-stars for Michigan, 1 5-star for Ole Miss. You got Alabama in the teens, 14. Georgia has 19 5-stars. Ohio State has 16. That shows you the difference right there. That shows you the difference. It drops from like double-digit 5-stars and screen poppers to Notre Dame and 4 with just 1.
We have literally just, and that's defining the problem that we said we need to make the step up. That's the clear difference in the college football world. When you're in the teens and 5-stars, you're automatically a top 5 team in the country. We always have trouble putting ourselves in that conversation because it comes down to that alone right there. We can recruit everything else but the LeBrons and KDs of the world to come to Notre Dame. So we always have that missing piece. People wonder what the missing piece is when we go into these playoffs every year and look like we can't compete. It's because of that graphic right there. We have 1 5-star compared to 15, 16, 17 5-stars that are those 15, 16, 17 are starters. Like, those are 15, 16, 17 guys. Those guys are on the field. So
I'm all about, look, those are, and see, this is the difference. Now, this is the perfect. You know how in basketball you get the guy that comes off the bench that dives everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And people are like, oh man, I love him. Like, he tries really hard. He plays so hard. And I'm like, Michael Jordan didn't play hard? Like, why not get the guy that's uber talented that plays hard too? Yeah. I don't need the guy that's kind of talented and plays
the guy
hard.
You gotta catch on a good night that happens to get in, and he just, you're like, who is that guy? We don't need a who is that guy. We need that's that guy. He's that guy. He's him. We want the guy that people don't pay the tickets to see.
And it's funny.
We want the guy on his team that's passing him the ball. We don't want the guy shooting it. We want the guy that's passing him the rock.
And it's crazy because people love the underdog, or they love the guy that has to play super hard, or that wasn't the 5-star, that was the 3-star, and all of a sudden has become this fantastic player. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, he jumped up to a 4-star late in his senior season, and you see what he's turned into. It's a great story. But man, what's wrong with going to get the top safety?
Yeah.
Right? What's wrong with having a Shula? What's wrong? Go get that dude. That's a screen popper immediately.
And we don't have anything to reserve on holding us back anymore either. I think Coach Kelly was taking so much of the Bill Belichick playbook of getting cogs in the system and guys that they can bring out of nowhere and be like, look at how smart I am. I was able to find this talent. To where Marcus Freeman is in win now competition mode, to where those 5-star safeties and those 5-star quarterbacks, the bat signal's up.
The bat signal, literally.
The bat signal is up. Yeah, we didn't have it up before, but the bat signal is up. We're looking for somebody to move into the city and start kicking butt on crime. We're really ready for and the door is open for those type of guys and that type of talent to walk through the door, because Marcus Freeman is no reservation. I mean, he's young in the game to where he knows where college football is heading on the recruiting side. He knows the ins and outs, on a fresher take on things. And so he's going to play ball like the rest of the guys that have adjusted in the game.
Yep. So, first question from Better Agency. Appreciate you for tagging in this morning. Yo, Malik, Jackson Arnold, 2023 quarterback from Texas, looks like the real deal, and it seems like he's high on Notre Dame. What are your thoughts on him? Actually, let me put the link. We actually did a show, a 15-minute show earlier in the season on the junior tape. Jackson Arnold was included. So I just put the link in the chat. Yeah, we did a show on Jackson Arnold, Nico, I'm a Believer, Dante Moore, and I forget the other two guys, the kid from Kansas that's high on Notre Dame as well. We did 5 quarterbacks. So I just put the link to that show in the chat. Check it out when we're done. But go ahead, Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched too much tape of Jackson Arnold, but what I do, I have a different opinion on Texas quarterbacks in general. I think the state is a huge farm system where, you can really be hit or miss. These guys are going to put up the numbers in Texas that are crazy, and they're probably going to have some crazy builds to them. But, a lot of those Texas quarterbacks don't usually go as far as I would like. One, because they always feel like they're missing something. They always feel like a Texas quarterback just missing something. Like outside of what you're looking at, it's like, what is he missing? I wouldn't say it's necessarily accuracy. I wouldn't say it's the big arm, but it's something that it's just like the Cowboys. The Cowboys are always missing something. And, I think they are great prospects out of high school. It's just how are we going to use them? Most Texas quarterbacks stay in Texas because that's the system they grow up in. But it's interesting to see how a Texas quarterback adjusts to what we're doing at Notre Dame, which is very multiple, which is not really the skill set of Texas quarterbacks in general coming out of high school as a multiple set. You get a lot of spread guys, a lot of read option guys, a lot of RPO, throw it deep, chuck them and haul them type of plays. So getting that quarterback that can be in that multiple set and do different styles is probably a reason why we haven't recruited too many Texas quarterbacks.
I mean, Texas quarterbacks, even when they try to leave, they end up going right back.
They end up going right back.
Look at Quinn Ewers. Transferring right back.
I think it's just something about Texas. The same way with California, it's hard for them to leave what is perceived to be the best place for is football.
Yeah, the Burmeister kid, another California kid, he's actually in the transfer portal, the kid that we played against when we went up there to Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
I don't know if impressive was the word.
No, he was just good. He was all right.
He was like the only quarterback other than Desmond Ridder that was consistent in getting outside of the contain of the Notre Dame pass rush.
Yeah, he was able to, and it was like we let him out again,
Right.
We bailed him out. And those are some of the exciting plays that you see from California quarterback, though. Like those style of quarterbacks, they're the Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to run around. I've been to the quarterback trainer all my life. So there's an element that they have to him, and which he had in the game, which makes it tough for all top defenses now.
Yeah.
You talk about Alabama, you talk about Georgia. What Bryce did in that Georgia game outside of him throwing it was his ability to run when he needed to. And it gave Georgia real problems, which opened up the pass game. So we've seen it happen to the great defenses in college football, especially championship styles. Even Alabama, when you get a quarterback that can run at least decently well enough, you got a chance. And do we have that at Notre Dame with Tyler Buckner? We might. It's better than Jack. You know what I mean? But Tyler just run too damn hard for me.
So safeties coach Chris O'Leary talked about the change in the recruiting style when they recruit DBs to Notre Dame, and also, how well Xavier Watts has transitioned over to the safety position.
Just it reconfirmed that relationships are everything. Building those relationships with guys and building them over a long period of time is what allows you to have success and sustain success in recruiting. I've seen it with, everybody in this program has really upped their game as far as communication and creating those genuine relationships. And I think that's why you're going to continue to see our recruiting just skyrocket. grown a lot, and it's been fun to watch. Working with a guy like that and seeing his development from receiver to rover to safety, and just seeing him find a home and have fun playing football. I mean, that's what it's all about. And the investment that he's put into getting better and watching film and learning the defense has been unbelievable. You know, I see him in the film room all the time spending extra, and it's really showing on the field. And so when you get a chance to see moments where he's getting TFLs and big hits, like, it's been, you know, some of the most fun I've had as a coach.
You know, this is one of the best environments you can have on a football team. And it's what we've heard about the practices, which is a competitive environment. And that's even amongst the coaches, right? So you have coaches watching like more than just their positions. You have coaches watching like every position group and how they move. And you have the DB coaches watching the wide receivers and saying like, yo, they're not really using that. I think we can use them over here. Like, let's fight over this dude. Like Jaden Bellamy is coming in this year. Like, both sides are going to be fighting over this kid. Like, yo, we want him at receiver. No. Bring him over here.
That honestly might be the secret into keeping kids from transferring.
Man.
With the transfer portal being so hot, this is the rarity of what recruiting that Marcus Freeman has brought in, mixed with this competition style, is that, like you said, now we're bringing in athletes, guys that are used to playing both sides of the football at high levels, to where they may not be a 5-star single position, but they're a 4-star both-way player. So this would even help us later in the season when we have these injuries that have plagued us in seasons before. Now it's like, okay, Cam Hart, we need you at DB now. We didn't send you in the season, play a little bit. We sent you back over receiver. A couple guys done went down, come back over, and we don't miss a beat. So now we're turning into a team full of positionless players where coaching actually has to come in and it has to be led in the right direction through competition, which Marcus Freeman is doing such a great job of, to where now D-line playing O-line, Emil Wagner going both ways. Blake Fisher might go both ways. You got Cam Hart doing some both ways. Xavier Watts and Jalen Sneed may even do some both ways. So just to see the team the team evolving right in front of our eyes, playing teams like Ohio State in the future and potentially Alabama's of the future, they don't seem that treacherous, because we know at least we got guys that can play both ways and to develop a smarter football team. So when you talk about player development and guys playing on both sides of the football, you're talking about a total football player that we haven't seen before. Maybe it's a better development than what it will be just having a superstar position coach.
And allows kids to feel more involved.
Yeah.
Like, you're wanted. Like, we want you. We just want to find the best way to get you on the field. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you on the field. Xavier Watts talked yesterday, and he spoke about how the move for him from receiver was immediately after the Florida State game, which is crazy, right? Because in the Florida State game, you're saying to yourself, okay, the wide receivers are cool. Marcus Freeman didn't like the outcome, didn't like the big plays.
I think I can help over there.
Right. So now he's scouting the roster like, yo, can I take him?
That's right.
Over to this side. Oh yeah.
So kids aren't transferring to go to different schools. They just transfer in positions. So they can find value within the team other places. That's a rarity, because usually NFL you'll have to get accustomed to that.
Right.
But in college with 100+ kids, you don't need to leave school. You know, you stay get your degree for mama. You just didn't know you went from punter to receiver to tight end in your Notre Dame career.
Right.
And now you're in the league making more money as a utility guy. You know what I mean? So this is a beautiful move. But it takes the openness and it takes the competition to be driven, that it is possible. Shoot, if you lacking at receivers, should I go over there? You know, because we do it all the time on the team anyway. You know, half the DBs think they should be playing receiver. Mm-hmm. Half the linebackers be thinking they can throw better than me or something, or they can catch better than the tight. So you're getting the right team chemistry to go out and win in any environment, because the guys know that they can cover for each other and they can compete with each other to feel more open. So beautiful development for our team.
I think yesterday I saw a video of Notre Dame in a meeting, and they actually had a competition at the end of the meeting who had the highest vert, offense or the defense. And they were doing jumps.
Right in the hallway.
Vertical jumps. Just like, yo, but this is the type of stuff like that gets the juices flowing, like, yo, it creates a camaraderie, but at the same time, the switch is always on. That competitive switch is always on. So when you get into the game, you run through that tunnel on January 1st. It's like, okay, like we're juiced from the time we get on the bus. We're not trying to get juiced in the locker room. The time we wake up, we have a table in the morning, we eat breakfast, and we hit that bus, we're ready to go through the tunnel right now.
That's
we're
right.
ready to hit the field right now.
Because you've been competing all week. You've been doing everything from lifting and competing to little in-between breaks competition, and even, your academics. When you having fun, constantly competing, you're only more excited to get to those games to punish the other team, which is the mindset we need going into the seasons moving forward. I think changing that mindset alone would make the team, from an outside looking in, feel like we're not just a good team. It'll give us some edge to make us feel like, oh, we can blow a team out this time. Like, we're not just going in to make it a close game. So these night games are going to be more like movie openers, because we're just going to be having a party all whole night.
Facts. So one of those guys that moved from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball was Cam Hart. We did a great show in the preseason talking about, we both believe that Cam Hart could be that number one defensive back that Notre Dame needed going into the season. And he definitely proved us to be correct in that assessment. And he talked about becoming a leader on yesterday in the program.
Marcus Freeman's philosophy it's been fun. We've been competing a lot, which is different than what I'm used to. And it's just been fun every day. I think I've grown up a lot. I've grown into a leader, I believe. And I've become a person that can help the younger guys come along and allow them to learn from the mistakes that I've made growing into a defense, and still have things to work on like everyone else, but I'm pretty comfortable at this.
Now, it's crazy because you remember they did a lot of early in the season, and this is just the adjustment, the minor adjustments in season, because we know Marcus Freeman is very good at adjustments in game. When he makes adjustments in season, whether it's grabbing a guy from the offense that he sees, looking at the analytics, seeing who's more athletic, who has more speed, who works well in this position, and then being able to build his defense around that. He looked at Cam Hart, identified him when he got there, moved him to the defensive side of the ball. Early in the season, if you look at the Florida State game, Cam Hart was traveling a lot with the number one receiver, the number one guy. This is your guy. This is your guy. Then they finally just said, you know what? Because tempo is really getting to us and teams that are going up tempo, that's when we have a lot of blown coverages and missed assignments. Cam, stay in the boundary.
Yeah.
You're the boundary corner. Clarence, you're the field. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You got that. Now, safeties, linebackers, defensive line, do your thing. Shouldn't be any confusion. And that, you start to see the defense come around. Of course, they played lesser teams and lesser offenses. We agree with that. We know that. But you saw a more cohesive unit, more production, and the defense just grew. But that comes from Marcus Freeman always wanting to enhance. You keep hearing this. He never got satisfied in the middle of the season with what they did against Wisconsin, what they did against Purdue defensively. They were playing well. He was always looking for enhancements. And I think after that USC North Carolina game, he was upset because it was known that Brian Kelly pretty much told him, look, I know what you want to do, but we need you to be a little bit less aggressive against these two teams. We just don't want to give up the big plays. And because of the assignments, look at the big run that North Carolina had because of a missed assignment by the linebackers going into the wrong hole on a blitz. Backside run, 59 yards later, touchdown. North Carolina's back in the game when Notre Dame, if they get a stop there, they probably go up 21 points. So Marcus Freeman is going to be him. He's constantly said that. He wants his players to be them, be yourselves, and just do the best that you can as you. If we're going to be aggressive, we're going to be aggressive, but we're going to be aggressive and disciplined, right? You know, if Brian Driscoll was on here with us, he would immediately mention your boy BVG, right? It's one thing to be aggressive, but undisciplined. It's a totally different thing to be aggressive and to absolutely know what you're doing and play together as a unit.
And the way that's going to come together is those guys talking and working with each other. I think Cam Hart said it best, being able to switch over and learning on a different type of level, as in just coming in as a DB and relying on guys around him, help him become a leader to help the younger guys get on board maybe a little bit faster. And that's the way you get discipline, when you have a team working together like that, especially if they're switching back and forth. There's a lot of communication going on if you got a lot of two-way players, a lot of guys switching positions. So that'll be good to get the discipline down. We already know the competition, the juice, the energy is going to be there with the team and the defense specifically. So there are going to be moments, hopefully, where, you know, we may jump out of position or blitz out of the wrong gap because we're too pumped and give up some explosive plays. But those explosive plays hopefully don't turn into 35, 40 points, and it's more like we give up 7, but we end up ending the game 10 to 40 something, right? So we want to minimize the casualty from these explosive plays, but the aggressive discipline is what you get from a Georgia, what you get from a Clemson when they were really good, what you get from an Alabama on year-to-year basis. That's the threshold we want to cross, and that's the type of defense they have, are aggressive, disciplined defenses. You don't see, well, now you've seen Bama get bombed on a little bit more than usual, but before, you wasn't hitting Bama unless you really came with a game plan. And that's what our defense is going to look like moving forward.
Yeah, Jaden Bellamy, Jaden Mickens, and also Benjamin Morrison, all DBs, all athletes, positionless. Mike Mickens talked about this. He doesn't know if they're going to end up at DB or safety. We know we got athletes and competitors, and we're going to find a way to get them on the field. And he talked about that a little bit yesterday.
We'll start with Mickey. Good player, football player, competitor. It's going to be fun to coach him. Be here in a couple weeks, so that'll be great to deal with it. Jaden Bellamy, another guy that'll be here in a couple weeks. We call him the playmaker, where you see him on film doing receiver, safety, corner. Just a football player that wants to come in and compete. Very quiet, but very good athlete as well. Ben Morrison, longer guy that's played well on the outside, did a little bit of safety this year too as well. But it's just a football player, and that's what we wanted. We wanted 3 football players and guys that want to compete, and that's what they do. They have a competitive spirit that we love.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you can go to Jalen Sneed. We said he played quarterback, he played linebacker. The majority of the shots, he played more safety than linebacker this year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. At 225. And Matt Bayless, he's going to put about 10, 15 on him.
He's going to get him real big for sure. And that's the thing I love, because now when you talked about should Marcus Freeman let go of Dale Alexander, or what's the case, I think this is the perfect opportunity where coaches actually have to earn their check. Because with positionless players, it's not even about recruiting your group anymore.
Yeah.
You got to scout the team, make sure the fit's right, make sure the fit fits what you're doing, the technique crosses over or comes in, and you develop the technique within the group. So now this will make the decisions easier for Marcus Freeman, because if he's not developing that receiver group with the type of competition every day of practice that's going on, with the type of talent that we're bringing in, it's going to be obvious. It's going to be an obvious lack within practice. So he'll be able to easily make that decision of, are you getting the job done or not? Also, I think this is making it more fun for the team, being that not only do the coaches not know, but the players don't know either. They don't know what the recruiting class holds. They're coming in as all the things that they play. They don't even know what they're going to be. So getting in that first ring practice is just going to be, let's put the hats on, and see who's the last man standing, or just competition drills. I think for the spring being so monotonous, it'd be good to have more team organized competition.
But that's like playing at the park as a kid with your boys, right? You all go to the park, you argue about who's going to be the quarterback,
For
right?
about 30 minutes.
For about 30 minutes before you even start the game.
You done had 13 tryouts, 13
right.
guys, and try to throw it as far as they can.
Exactly. Like, no, I'm a better quarterback. Watch this, run.
Go deep.
Go through all of that just to figure out, and then you finally play the game. And ultimately, you just want to play. You just want to get on the field.
Yeah, and it always shakes out. It always shakes out.
All right, you got one super chat. Thank you, Matt. 2011 GT as always. Look, Malik is going to be good, man.
We're going to be good, man. We just delivering that hot content. As long as you can get us and you can see us eye to eye, we good, baby. I'm going to get back on top.
Another question, Juan Lazada. Thank you for joining us this morning, Juan. Shaun, I was wondering why can't Notre Dame get 5-star athletes like Duke does in basketball? Okay, I see the academic correlation there. Doesn't Duke have high academic standards too? I know it B-ball roster is smaller, but still. Duke has one of the most influential coaches in all of college basketball, not just college basketball, but he was literally the coach of USA basketball, which means he had direct connection to all of the teams. That's the 14 and under, 15 and under, 16 and under, 17 and under. It was an unfair advantage, but he was able to see kids a lot earlier than other coaches and to get into their ears a lot earlier than other coaches. That was the advantage Duke has had for the past 15 years.
Yeah.
Point blank. Once Coach K got that Team USA job, he was already a good recruiter, very good recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
But it got even better once he got connected to Team USA and was able to be connected to the best players from like 13 and up.
Yeah.
So that helped mightily. There is no pipeline like that for Notre Dame. And recruiting Notre Dame is really kind of on an island, but I've said it, you've said it, other people have said it. If you have a good coach at Notre Dame, they'll win. Like the brand is still the brand.
And I think it changes too. Like you said, the brand's the brand, and winning changes a lot. I think that first step over that national championship, we get that one ring.
Yeah.
We'll start getting more 5 stars, but we don't want a fast food 5 stars either. Let's just be honest. That 5-star number propped up by Georgia's propped up. That's not an authentic 5-star recruiting trail. That's a bought and paid for, mixed with some promises, mixed with a whole bunch of. That's an asterisk put. Now, I believe the real 5 stars numbers at Ohio State and Alabama because you've seen it over time. They've won championships. They got the NFL talent that's still playing today. And for Georgia to get that, to have damn near the most 5 stars out of both schools, just shows that's a fast food industry over there. And we'll see. But it hasn't turned out the right type of talent that they need to win those games, even though they have the most 5 stars. And I don't want to see us go down that route either. I don't think this is the bandwagon recruitment trail of Notre Dame. I think this is something that's here to stay. And, we're not going to offer the same things you would at the fast food restaurant with the quick meals and stuff. But we do know when we do get a couple 5 stars, they're going to be guys that are Hall of Fame remembering type of guys too.
And on top of that, man, we keep talking about this entire thing, and we'll get to the Notre Dame offensive line versus Oklahoma State, but this is just really good discussion about what Chris O'Leary and what Mike Mickens put out there yesterday. Because it's very important as we move forward and we start looking at what 247 broke down as far as the talent gap. You have to be able to at least, Notre Dame doesn't have to get up to double digits, right?
No.
They can't compete with Alabama and Georgia like that.
Yeah, that's do you know how ridiculous that is?
16,
17.
That's crazy. But what they have to do, what Notre Dame has to do, is Notre Dame has to get 7, 8.
Yeah, we just got to get half the number. Will be fine.
That's it. Get 7, 8, 9. Get that difference maker at quarterback. Wide receiver.
We got to have the right spots. Get a
DB.
Nice 5-star tackle, 5-star QB. You know, the 5-star tight end isn't as effective in today's game.
Yeah.
You know, I know we're tight end U, but tight end U hasn't been giving us championship U either.
No, and it won't.
It won't.
No.
But if we had one 5-star receiver and a couple of Robins to a Batman over there, we'll be cooking with something. But you definitely need one at quarterback. I think having one at safety like Kyle Hamilton is a great ingredient.
Yeah.
And then you got one nasty D lineman, like a Isaiah Fausti, with a bigger frame. Like he's gonna put a bigger frame on next year. He should be that 5-star presence that's freaking havoc. Like 31, what's his name? Williams from Alabama, 31. Isaiah Fausti should have a season like that next year.
And this is the crazy thing, bro. You have to remember what Marcus Freeman seems to be trying to create as far as just being competitive and getting people on the field is the same thing that exists at Alabama, like Jalen Waddle, screen popper. But Jalen Waddle wasn't getting major snaps.
No.
But he elevated special teams immediately. He was changing field position immediately. Devontae Smith, you didn't hear his name. It was in freshman year. And here he comes in overtime of the national championship game.
Yeah.
Who gets the call? Who gets the call on a 3rd and 19?
See, that should have been for us. That should have been our Braden Lindsey, our Lawrence Keys, our guys like that. Our Styles. That should have been our Styles. So we got potential, but Tommy got to, Marcus Freeman's gonna put the trust in those young guys. I believe that's why he's recruiting so hard because he wants to get his guys out there. But Tommy got to pull that trigger now.
Now, I will say this. I saw a question about someone. It was not a question, it was a comment. I'll say this, and I really don't want to let too much out. If you are hoping that the O-line coaching situation trends up and then Marcus Freeman makes the right hire, I'll put my money on that everybody in this chat watching and that myself and Malik are going to be extremely happy with what happens immediately after the Fiesta Bowl. I'll leave it at that.
That's right.
Extremely happy.
Extremely.
I think Malik knows what I'm talking about. I think Notre Dame fans are going to be extremely happy with what happens with the O-line coach at Notre Dame.
We'll get back on track. Hopefully.
Like this, you'll be extremely happy for the next 2 to 3 years, and you'll be even more happy for the 10 years after that. So
that's what we like to hear.
Stop worrying about the O-line coach situation in Notre Dame.
Yeah, we've been building. We've been building.
It's looking really, really good.
That's
right. All I'll tell you, Notre Dame fans. Rest your little hearts. Don't worry. Don't give any more thought, any more worry to the O-line coach situation in Notre Dame.
We didn't put them seeds in that ground.
You can put that to bed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's going to be all good in a short few days.
See, that's gonna elevate Tyler's play.
Absolutely.
I think that's just gonna help Tyler adjust faster, and whoever the quarterback they want to recruit. But I think Tyler will have a better role field for him. When he go out there and operate.
Yeah, and that is a perfect segue into talking about what Notre Dame's offensive line is going to be facing. Going up against the Oklahoma State defensive line that can rush the passer. As I said before, they don't have speed rushers. They have more power rushers. But you can't get outside of them in the run game. And I look for Logan Diggs and the running backs. Your major concern yesterday that you stated on the show would be Notre Dame's running backs and how they assist the O-line, because you think Oklahoma State early on is really going to come after Jack Cohn and the Notre Dame offense.
Yeah, with an experienced O-line like that, they're probably sitting in the meeting room saying, "Yeah, we're gonna get after this statue. We're gonna make him move around, get him flustered early." And so I'm expecting to see some blitzes that we probably haven't seen through the year. Maybe one or two of their special blitzes early to let them know that they're trying to get back there. And I think for Jack, getting the ball out of his hands quick, knowing his outlets, Tommy's gonna give him those options for him to have. And if we can survive that storm or that first quarter
Mm.
with the D line at their peak energy, where they're just tagging off the line, if we can handle that first storm, I think by the second half we'll get them tired and we'll finish them by the fourth.
Yeah, I agree totally with that. Now, I'm sure they're going to come out with the way they've looked. You know, Alt, Christophic, Patterson, Madden, Love. Blake Fisher's back in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Looking good in practice. Probably going to get some snaps. I'm very interested to see. More than likely, he's going to get snaps on the interior when they bring him in.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I hope is at right guard.
If you had to replace one, I think that's the one to replace, though.
Or would you dare replace a fourth-team All-American though?
Couldn't do that one.
You would no. You can't
Couldn't
replace
do
an
that.
All-American fourth team. I don't know what the hell Phil Steele and his staff were thinking.
Yeah, I didn't even know you had a damn fourth team. Gee Louise.
So I'm very interested in seeing, especially in the running game, what they change. I don't think with this offensive line that you have, even though they've gotten better, I look for a lot of jet sweeps and misdirection early from Tommy Reeves because you know how aggressive Oklahoma State's going to be with that defensive line. They want to get after the quarterback. So
yeah, I mean, it just depends. You know, I was thinking about that earlier. If anything, with a young running back room and linebackers that aren't quite as talented as the guys we got running the football to be tackled, I think early on they hit them straight in the mouth. I think we go straight downhill, especially with Diggs, run between them tackles to let them know that we're Notre Dame too, and make them linebackers fill those holes. I think that's the easiest way to start the game. If we start trying to run outside and do all of that stuff, I think the youth and the unexperience of the running backs will show. They might get stretched out and not cut up field or read the holes right on stretch plays or maybe not be patient enough.
yeah,
So I think early on some downhill running wouldn't do us wrong just because I think we're a bigger line. So we can probably push and fall forward for about 3 or 4, then hit some play action off of it. But I think if we start going side to side against a veteran team like this, they're savvy enough to avoid some blocks and make some tackles behind the line of scrimmage. And if we're playing behind the line of scrimmage like 2nd and 12 or a 3rd and 8
yeah.
or a 3rd and 15, that's not a good recipe for Jack against a defense like this.
And if we pull anybody, make sure we're pulling Christopher.
Yes, absolutely.
It has to be so. If we're pulling, we're running right, and pulling the left tackle and left guard because I don't want dude. No, I've seen the right guard pulling, and that gets blown. More than likely, that's going to get blown up.
Gets blown up or somebody. Yeah, it's just a long developing play for offensive line that's still trying to get his experience in there.
Yeah,
You know, unless we had like Blake Fisher somehow coming out there pulling, but you know, we'll wait on that. We got years to come for that.
and Oklahoma State loves the DE, the DT stunt,
Yeah.
and because they're a power rush, that gives me concerns once again with our interior. Like,
just push the pocket.
Jack needs that back pocket that you see on the jeans. He needs that. He needs that. Like if you get a collapsed pocket, Jack is gonna collapse immediately.
It's gonna turn into sweatpants, man. Then you're in trouble.
It's definitely gonna turn into sweatpants. So I'm worried about their interior being able to hold up. Now the run game is one thing, but in that passing game, we need them to be, because really it's been the speed rushers that have given Notre Dame a lot of trouble this year.
Yeah, it's definitely the speed rushers, and that's only because they know we have to pass. So let's avoid being in obvious pass situations. That means we're going to have to run that ball. We're going to have to slow the pass rush for play action. This is a very Wisconsin style of game offensively that
Mhm.
we need to have against a defense that's high energy and that flies around with speed. We're bigger, so we need to act like it. And this is a great opportunity for Jack. This is what we got him for. We didn't get him to run a air raid, Texas Tech, throw it all over the place. We got him to manage the game, give me some 4-minute drives, hit them one-on-ones off to the play action, and not get affected by the hype of the game. I think this is the perfect game for him to cap off his wonderful season, 13-1. Hopefully as a starter, and we'll see you somewhere in the backup league.
This
Making
is
a nice pension in about 2 or 3 years. No worries.
This is the Lucky Lefty podcast. I am your guy, Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics, Malik Zaire at Overtime Malik, featuring and presented by Onora Whisky. Go to OnoraWhisky.com, that premium American whiskey. Don't forget our Fiesta Bowl ticket giveaway on Friday's show. Subscribe, share, like, let everybody know. Get involved. Go purchase a bottle of Onora Whisky and enter yourself into the drawing that will take place on Friday. People are dying laughing about that sweatpants. Yo,
yeah, he's definitely gonna be sweating in his pants. He'll get inside pressure.
LL Nation, I promise you, I'm not trying to tease you. I can't be official right now with what I know. And I gave you really
Everything
good
you
clues.
need to know.
I think I gave you really good clues.
That's
Okay.
right.
Short term, Notre Dame's going to be set up. Long term, Notre Dame's going to be set up. So stop worrying about the offensive line coach situation.
That's right.
Good. Now, if you want to worry about Dale Alexander, whether or not he's retained, wait and see.
Only
like
time can
everybody else.
tell. Yeah, only time can
We have
tell.
to wait and see like everybody else. And look, the name that you guys are throwing about in the chat, if that is indeed the name, no, that name is not going to make it 10 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is why I said short term and then long term.
That's right.
There is a plan, and I'll leave it at that. Let's see. All right, we have special guests coming up momentarily. And so before we get our special guests on, bro, each and every day we have to do it for the people. So
yes,
let's
we do.
get it.
Petticoat, Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing. Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you. You don't? No.
What is today's petty historic?
Yo, you know what time it is? Yep. Petty Junction. Each and every day. Pettiest story of the day. Look, I'm tired of Nick Saban, man. I gotta throw Nick Saban on the petty train. And the reason I have to throw Nick, news came out late yesterday afternoon that all ACC running back transferred from Georgia Tech, Jahmyr Gibbs was transferring to Alabama. Look, man, first Eli Ricks from LSU.
First.
Now this kid from Georgia Tech, who's a difference maker, screen popper. This transfer portal, it ain't it. It ain't it, man. It's not going the way it should go. I'm sorry, man. I'm getting tired of Nick Saban abusing his transfer portal already. I got to have to put him on the petty train.
You said that you tied it. So it seems like Alabama's using it so effortlessly. Yeah, let's just grab a top NFL corner in the future. Let's just grab a top running back that we're going to make known nationally after next year when he comes to us. I mean, the bad guys can use the same resources too now.
Man.
They making that transfer portal look real transferable. I mean, Nick Saban is not wasting no time. And it's petty because you would think it would help other teams get better. It's just making the good teams eat better. That's crazy.
But you know what's even worse? Let's go ahead and be honest about it, bro. They've been talking to that dude all season.
Oh, they had to.
Heck yeah. See, that's the thing about this transfer portal now. You had teams like Ohio State and Alabama just watching film on other teams. That's like what their analysts do. Go find the best players on the worst teams so we can talk to them about transferring like immediately after the season.
And that's the thing, too, because it's like, okay, their scouting department is for real because they're running down the hallways when they see the right people getting that transfer portal. I didn't even know Eli Ricks was in it long enough before I heard he was going to Alabama first thing. So they've been talking the whole season.
They've been talking to that dude the entire season.
They had to.
Oh man, that's
we need to definitely, because Alabama has already started to be up to no good, start putting in them tampering rules like the NFL and the NBA.
Yeah. So that's the petty story today, man. I had to put Nick Saban on the petty train because what they're doing and how they're abusing everything right now is crazy. So now we bring in our special guest to the Lucky Lefty podcast. We'll welcome in for former Notre Dame wide receiver, and now he's in the minor league system for the LA Angels. Torii Hunter Jr. Welcome to the Lucky Lefty podcast, my brother.
Y'all, I'm kind of hearing y'all weird right now. I'm trying to fix this, man.
Oh no, we got to get him in there. T Hunt, welcome to the show, man.
Some slow motion right now, man. I don't know what's going on with this. Technology's trash.
At least we got him in the building, Lucky Lefty Nation. We done got our guy in the building. He's been talked about so much. He's in another sport, man. This guy is everywhere now.
Hold on. Man, why can't I hear? It's like in slow motion. Y'all like talking with deep voices right now. I don't know what's going on.
That's that.
We didn't bring out the Barry Whites yet.
I'm gonna come right back. Right.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool.
So we'll keep chopping it up until Torri gets back in. So Malik, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you talk about T Hunt? I'll tell you the first thing that comes to my mind, and it's not good, but go ahead.
Man, the first thing that comes to my mind is that Torri was really like a 1C. He really was a number one receiver in a land where we had number one receivers at the time. Like, he was like, Torii Hunter was like the PSP before his time. Like, it was just, we didn't really know what to do with it yet because it was too ancient. It was like, how are we supposed to use this thing? How are we supposed to put this and get the best out of it? So Torri was the PSP of my time at Notre Dame. If any player was that guy, it was Torii Hunter.
I appreciate that, man.
So, first of all, we just want to ask how you doing, man. How are you doing? How's the family?
Oh man, I'm good, man. I just finished working out actually. But yeah, family's good, man. My son's about to be 4 on Saturday on Christmas.
Man.
Christmas baby. And then I have 11-month-old daughter. She was born in January, so she'll be 1 next month.
Oh my goodness.
So man, it's been crazy. I just been enjoying fatherhood, enjoying being a husband, and just trying to continue to pursue my career. That's really the biggest thing.
You don't have to tell me, bro, that baby girl is different.
Oh yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. I tell my wife, you can have my son. Daughter's mine. She light up every time she sees me. My son, he's still attached to his mom. So That's how it is. I understand that, but
It'll
yeah,
switch.
man.
It'll switch when you get older.
Yeah, my daughter, man, she's everything, bro.
So, how were you excited about everything that transpired with the hiring of Marcus Freeman and the energy it seems to have brought or infused into the program?
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited about the Freeman era, man. I think he's a, a really good fit. I think he's the guys love him. I think they run through a brick wall for him. I mean, you see that the first week he was announced the head coach. You know, these dudes are rallying around him. The recruits are rallying around him, and that's the biggest thing is that these recruits, believe in him, and they haven't even been able to, be under him as a head coach. So that tells a lot to me about the type of that he is, the type of coach that he is, and how much he cares about this program and the team and his players. So yeah, man, I think he's going to do a great job. I think all that matters is I mean the players are going to be behind him. So that's number one. They're going to believe in anything that he says, and that he just got to lead them the right way. So I think that's the biggest thing.
And you think about that too. I mean, Coach Freeman has done a great job in recruiting athletes. We talking about purebred athletes, positionless players. That's why I call you the PSP, because you were a positionless player. You could have been anywhere on the field at that time. But what do you think goes into being a two-sport type of athlete? Like, how do you build that type of prototype? Because, like, you're in a whole new career still doing a sport, but it's a different kind of sport. So what goes into that dual sport positionless kind of athlete, or what does it take to be like that?
Honestly, I mean, I never really specialized as a kid. You know what I mean? Like, I was never just a football player. I was never just a baseball player. Like, I played football, basketball, baseball, like year round. So it was just like one sport after another. So I never really specialized, but I was very athletic, and I was very like good at knowing where my body is in space. And like, obviously baseball is a little bit more skilled sport, but like I was just out there being an athlete, honestly. And just because, and I tell a lot of parents that I talk to now, is just like, where we, might hurt our kids is like, we specialize them in this one thing, and now they can't really go out and do, all the other sports are like, because like for me, I tell people all the time, I feel like baseball players are like the best dudes to be able to, like, if they need to go out and like look like they can play football, they could probably go out there and look like they can play football. Or a lot of these baseball players can hoop, bro, and they go out there and they look like they can hoop, but it's just because a lot of times I feel like these baseball players, especially at the pro level, they were quarterbacks, and they were like basketball players in high school, and they played all these other different sports. So I think that just makes you a better overall athlete in general, is just to go out and just play a bunch of different sports. Soccer too, bro. Just go out and play different sports, and I think it sets you up for, like, there's a lot of transferable skills between the sports if you go out and play a lot of different ones. So, yeah.
So in retrospect, when you look at your time at Notre Dame, is there something you wanted to do that you feel like you never got the opportunity to do, as far as maybe going to a different position, or just getting more opportunities on special teams, return game, things like that?
Yeah, man, I think, I do wish that I was able to, I guess showcase my talents more. I think, finally my senior year, I was able to, kind of step into that role. But unfortunately, I got hurt that first game of the season my senior year. But, I felt like I was somebody who could play literally any position you wanted to put me in. I felt like I knew the playbook well enough that you could throw me anywhere. And if you needed to get that first down or you needed that big play, like, I feel like I could have been that person. And it kind of just didn't feel that way after a while. Like, it would be, like the first part of the game, I feel like everything was scripted and they would try to give me the opportunities. And then after that, it would kind of like go by the wayside. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like those first 25, 30 scripted plays, it was like, it was like clockwork. And I was like, all right, I can cook this dude all day if you want me to. Like, but, it kind of got to a point where we kind of got away from it. And then I'm like, damn, like,
what happened?
Well, what? Yeah, you know what I mean? What happened? So, but I mean, looking back, obviously I wish I could have could have had a little bit more opportunities. I felt like I was, working hard enough to put myself in that position. Just, working to learn the playbook and give myself the best opportunity to see the field as much as I could and create as many opportunities as I could. But, yeah, it is what it is, man,
And talk about, there's a huge difference now. The kids talk about it that the practices are way more competitive and it's way more things going on. I don't think people understand the difference that I was trying to tell Lucky Lefty Nation about our practices at Notre Dame under Kelly and what they're seeing now. Just talk about why you thought the energy was low on some games coming out. And I always say it was because of the practices were just low energy. But people don't believe me.
Yeah, it did. It felt like it was like a kind of going through the motions of just like, hey, we did this on this day, did this on this day. Everybody kind of knew where they needed to be. Like it was just kind of like, I don't know, it was like a mundane thing, like a mundane routine of what the practices look like. Yeah, like everybody just like you didn't even have to look at a play like a practice sheet. You just like after this you got 1-on-1s, after this you got 88s, after this you got whatever, and it was just like, and it was the same thing on every day. Which I mean, I get it to a certain extent of just like trying to make sure that everybody knows what's going on. But I think there was only a few competitive periods in that practice to where it was like
Even
I
worth
need to
going
really,
out there.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it was 1-on-1s, and then, we talked trash for like 10 minutes, and then 88's kind of like it was like a touchy-feely type thing. And but I don't know.
You got
It was
team
just,
at the end, and that was about it.
yeah, and team was at the end, yeah. So it was kind of like, I think the focus was more on like trying to understand the game plan rather than just going out there and competing, if that makes sense, It was like,
That's right.
we really going to just try to hone in on what your assignments are and everything like that. But I think we did miss that kind of like, I don't know, just that dog attitude, just like go out there and like, I don't even care. Like, it don't matter who I'm lined up across from. It's like, you just going to get dominated, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
we're on your ass.
yeah, exactly. That's I feel like we was kind of missing that. But it is what it is, man. We had the athletes, bro. I think, in my opinion, we had the athletes to go out there and win a national championship. But unfortunately, that's what it is.
Lucky Lefty podcast with special guest Torii Hunter Jr. joining myself, Shaun Davis, and Malik Zaire. You just talked about that. So you guys had the athletes. You felt like you had the talent to win a national championship. Is there one particular game for you that sticks out that you felt like, man, if we had just won this game, that would have been the game that really got us over the hump?
Shoot. Florida State, our sophomore year, and then Clemson, our junior year. I think those two games were like just very just pivotal, like just pivotal moments in our college careers, man. I think we win those games like literally it's a goal line stand in the Florida State game, and same thing in the other game. We could have tied it up in the Clemson game. We went for the 2-point conversion, but you know what I mean. It's like those are literally like marginal like losses that we had, and I feel like it definitely could have turned the tide for our season. I think dudes would have kind of, I don't know. I mean,
it just would have changed the feel, man. It would have
it just would have changed the vibes of the rest of the season. I think people were, because we already, I feel like, put pressure on ourselves not being in a conference. So we were like, the goal every year is to win out. Like we know that's the only way they're really gonna try to give us our respect is if we win out. So that was the biggest thing for us, is like, we got to win out, bro. Like, and so after that, I feel like it did kind of take a hit to morale a little bit, but I think we were, like I said, our junior year, like I feel like that was the most talent we had, and I think that was it. That was the year that we were supposed to do it, man, and because we were able to still bounce back from that Clemson loss, and we still kind of,
it was right in position,
kept playing, and then that freaking Stanford game, bro. At the end of the season, it's like, bro,
how do you give up a third and however long it was? Like, it was like forever, and they got the first down, and we just
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
a
I mean,
movie.
like I said, it is what it is, bro. But looking back, those are probably the two losses where I was like, if we win games, I think the vibe is different moving forward, and I think we would have given ourselves a better shot. But yeah, man, it's wild to think about. I'm in a different stage of life, and so I try not to think about it too much. But it's like, bro, like we should
Hard
have
not
we
to.
should have won one, bro. We should have won at least one, or at least been in
In the
the playoffs
conversation,
or
like
something,
his
something,
college
bro. You know
football
what I mean?
history would be a little different if we was able
Yeah,
to pull those 2 games off. I think the same
exactly,
way.
Torri,
exactly.
jokingly, I always tell Malik, if you ever bump into Deshaun, you got to have your trash talk ready. Like, if you ever see him out in LA, like, what are you going to tell him? You got to tell him if you had played in that game, fill in
Be
the
a little
blank.
different.
Like,
Be a little different.
The Shaun Elliott.
no, I was always tell Malik, like, if you bump into Deshaun Watson, you
Oh,
always have to have something to say. Like, if your
He
whole
knows.
career would be different if I had played in that game in
yeah.
Clemson.
Nah,
He definitely
facts.
knows a little bit, but it's good.
Yeah,
It's good to even bring up this story because it's also crazy.
yeah, that boy elite.
It's also crazy about this NIL thing, and I really want to get your take on
Ooh.
what the NIL is now and how it could have affected you with baseball today and building your brand back as a football player at Notre Dame.
Bro, I mean, dudes, making more than I make right now, like in college, bro. Let's be honest, bro. Like, and I was like, bro, if I was in college, bro, I would have utilized the heck out of some NIL, bro. I would have been
That's right. That's
hitting
right.
up brand out, bro. You know what I mean? Like, create the
Yeah,
brand. Why
at
you
Notre
got the
Dame.
star power? Why you got the star power, bro? You might as well create the brand and go with it, bro. But yeah, bro.
Yeah, how is it
It's
working for you now? Do you feel like you're behind the 8 ball now that you're in the professional life in baseball, trying to do the same type of things?
behind 8 ball. I mean, I think that especially being in the minor leagues, it's like a little different. So you're not really in the limelight like that. Whereas, if I would have took the football route and I would have came back and I would have tried to go NFL, like once you're in the NFL, like you're in the NFL, bro. So like you probably got a little bit more star power than if I'm in the minor leagues and I'm playing in Alabama and Iowa and you know what I mean? Like I'm playing these random places, but it's a little tougher, so I'm kind of riding that Notre Dame wave a little bit. But I mean, that's a brand that's not really ever die. So it's cool to kind of ride that wave. But yeah, bro, it's yeah, bro, you're definitely behind the 8 ball because now I think about, bro, you're behind the 8 ball, bro, because these dudes are capitalizing right now, like
Right now.
dudes making $50K a year.
Yeah,
That would make sense to me.
being a subway ambassador.
Bruh, $50K? Like, come on, bro.
Now
These
I did
dudes
also,
gonna be set, bro.
I had to do a little digging. I had to refresh myself on the Torii Hunter experience in high school, and I did see you had that offer from Alabama. Now, what made you think Brian Kelly was so goated that you chose Notre Dame over Alabama at that time?
You're annoying, bro. So yeah, bro. I think it was bigger than Kelly, bro. Honestly, so my only experience with Alabama was, the receivers coach. I think it was Coach Grow or something like that at the time. And he comes to my school and he's sitting there, watching practice, kind of off in the cut. And then after practice, my head coach comes over and he's like, "Hey, like somebody wants to talk to you in the office." So I go to the office. It's him, and he has like, national championship rings on his finger. So he's just like, talking to me like, da 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 da. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
"What's up? You see?"
all right, I see, like, I see what you're doing, bro. Like, whatever. And he was like, look, he said, let me not tell you, how much, Alabama wants you. Da da da. He's like, let me get Nick Saban on the phone. So I'm like, oh my God, bro. Like, it's Nick Saban, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you starstruck at this point. Like, even as a recruit, you starstruck. You're like, dang, it's Nick Saban, bro. Like, whatever. So he calls Nick Saban, and Nick Saban's like, hey, we really want you at the University of Alabama. You can play both sports here, da 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 da. And I'm
I
like,
didn't get
dang,
you.
bro.
The both sports didn't get you. That ring a
Damn, bro.
bell for you?
Hey, bro. And I mean, honestly, initially I was like, bro, like this is Alabama. I just got the
Alabama.
biggest. This is the biggest offer you get, bro. Like everybody want Bama.
Yeah.
So I got, it's the biggest offer you could get. So I got Bama, bro. And then I sat down and thought about it, bro. And you got to think they churning out 5 stars, bro. And so let's say I got hurt in high school, so my career might look totally. I might not even, if I was verbally committed to Alabama and I get hurt in that All-American game.
Yeah,
like,
you'd be
who knows
Deion
that,
Sanders. You would have took a couple years off. You would have went and played baseball and then came back.
But yeah, what would that have looked like, bro? My career would have probably looked completely different if I was committed to Alabama. And where they churning out 5-star receivers like every year, and NFL receiver after NFL receiver. And if I go in there hurt, it might look totally different, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, instead of me being able to play my sophomore year, I might have 2 years of, me not seeing the field before I can even get an opportunity.
That's right.
So I was like, look, if I get hurt again, I gotta have an education, bro. So, it was.
So getting hurt kind of made the realization of the pick of schools a little bigger for you. You was like, well, damn, that getting hurt thing. Yeah, getting hurt get real fast.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Because I mean, I was committed before I got hurt, but that had already been, playing in my head. Like, if I do get hurt and I go to Alabama, like, what would that look like, or whatever. So, but if I go to Notre Dame and I got a hella good degree, that I might, play in my favor. And they talked and they, bought or they sold me on the 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision. And I'm
damn.
Dang, that makes sense. That makes sense. Whatever. So I was like, that makes sense. But I had a different mindset at that time, bro. I think I had a different mindset than a lot of recruits.
Yeah,
nowadays.
you was thinking of the wholesome PC answer, man.
Yeah.
You weren't thinking about that money, man.
Nah, I wasn't. Which I mean, it was deeper than that. Like I said, bro.
Straight up.
So once again, Lucky Lefty Podcast special guest Torii Hunter Jr. joining us. You talk about Alabama and the Nick Saban conversation that you had before you came on. We have a segment called the Petty Train, and we put Nick Saban on the petty train for how he's just rating and using the transfer portal they get all the 5 stars, and then he goes and gets the best guys in the transfer portal all season. It's like, dude, like, come on, man, we got to put a stop to this. The way things are now with the transfer portal and kids immediately being able to leave the school and get on the field without having to wait a year like it previously was. How has it changed college football, and do you think it's for the best?
Dudes are free agents every year. Like, it's wild. Like, it's wild to think about. So, whereas before, dudes would, it'd be a little bit more strategic about, whether they want to leave or whatever. But dudes are just out now. Like, if they go a year without starting, it's like, I'm out. I'm gone. I'm going to find another team. And it's like, and these dudes are courting them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think at first I was like, all right, it might level the playing field, like it'll give teams opportunities to, like, get other players, whatever. But I don't know, man. I just think it's crazy because, like, that decision that you make in high school doesn't hold any value.
Yeah,
before it was like, you make this decision, it's like, all right, I'm gonna stick with it. Like,
it's a life-changing decision.
Yeah, I gotta stick with it. It's like, this is the decision that I made, so I gotta live with it. But now it's like, I just try it out. I'll see how the first year goes. If I don't play, I'm out. Like, it is what it is. Or you tell a coach, like, hey, I'm gonna go try out such and such, but if you don't work out, I'll holler at you. I'll holler at you in about 6 months. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how it's going, bro. But dudes are just transferring right. And it's wild, but I don't know. I think it might be tough for the integrity of the game. I think there's no loyalty to like the universities anymore. I think it's just like, where can I go and make the most money? Where can I go and you know, hopefully play. If I don't play, I'm gonna just leave. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? There's no like this is my school. Like, you know what I mean? This is my
Yeah.
school. This gonna be my alma mater. Like, whatever. Like, there's really none of that. I feel like anymore. I think it's given a lot of power to the players. Honestly, I feel like, but here's what I mean. It might be good. It might not. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see
We'll
as
see how
time
it
goes
goes.
on.
It's definitely getting crazier with the rules coming out. And like you said, it's putting more onus on the coaches. They can't be liars anymore.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do have to ask you, because we have you on here. You were in the room, you were around the team, you saw what was going on in the country at the time while you was on the team. What's the biggest misconception about the receiver room at Notre Dame? We're not giving the credit of the Ohio State receiver rooms. We're not giving the credit of the Alabama receiver rooms. But you were in that receiver room while we were there. And I felt like we were up there with those guys at that point as well. But what is the outside perception or the misconception people are having about that receiver room?
I don't know. I think that just, we're not flashy. You know what I mean? Like, we're not like we score a touchdown, people just toss the ball. It's like, you know what I mean? Like we're not gonna like sit there and gritty, and do all these other things. But I think that we were always a solid core.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? Like, we were gonna make plays, like, which we did. I feel like we made plays, like, and we would always that one guy who was, the number one receiver or whatever. But I think that we're definitely a strong receiving core. I thought that we were gonna make plays, but like I said, I don't think we were flashy enough to be in the news every week. I just think we were doing our business. We were about our business, and it just is what it is.
So
Does
we
that make
gotta
sense?
add swag to the recruiting of the receiver room. Is where
Yeah.
we make the difference.
Yeah. I think that's probably because, like, we weren't, like I said, we weren't in the news every week, bro. Like, we weren't.
Yeah.
Like I said, Corey Robinson catch a ball. What he gonna do?
you
gonna toss it.
you can't use Corey,
Corey,
man. You can't use
but
Corey, man.
Corey making a crazy play though. Like, he gonna dunk on somebody. He gonna toe tap on the side. Like, bro, these are crazy plays. But he just gonna catch the ball and hand it to do a light little helmet tap and then take it back to the sideline. Whereas somebody else might mess around and spike the ball, run to the sideline, dance to the cheerleaders, and then like be on TV. But like, Corey just made a hell of a play. But he just made it seem like,
Yeah. You damn near like went back to business as usual.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think, that's kind of how we were, bro. I don't know. We just took care of business, and it was like, whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think swag will make that look like, a little bit more enticing for a lot of these recruits, because that's what they want. They want to do TikToks and stuff when they score. So.
Yeah, it would be that's crazy.
So once again, man, we thank you for joining us. Tell us a little about where you are now, and you're in Double A right now, and tell us about how the progress is going, how you're developing. I know you feel like, first and foremost, defense is like your strength and your range in the outfield. We just talked about how you become a much better hitter at the plate and how you're progressing, and how soon will it be before we're able to come out, get tickets, and see
Start
you
copping
playing?
them jerseys. I want to cop a jersey.
Old Tani, man.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm slowly progressing. Obviously, I didn't play a whole lot at Notre Dame, baseball wise, but pro baseball has been a different animal. But like I said, I've been slowly developing, becoming a better player, becoming a better hitter at the plate. Yeah, man, and I'm just trying to learn and learn as much as I can every year. Showed a little bit more power this past season. I had like 8 home runs, which is like double. It's like double my minor league career. So, so I had like 8 homers last season, and just becoming more of a baseball player rather than like a football player that's just like using his athletic ability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I'm kind of knowing the ins and outs of my swing as a hitter. Shoot, even defense, man. There's little things that you can learn. There's stuff that you can learn every day on the baseball field.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm picking up every year. And shoot, hopefully here in the next couple of years, bro, I can get an opportunity with the team and shoot, make my debut. So that's the plan. I'm just keeping at it, continuing to grind, and hopefully I can get the opportunity one day, man. So I appreciate y'all having me, bro. This is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what? I saw this on the last
crazy.
dance. I saw it on the last dance where Tim Grover said he literally had to change Michael Jordan's body to go from playing basketball to go to playing baseball. Like, is it that much different, to prepare for one sport than the other?
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen a football player try to swing a baseball bat?
That's right.
Hey,
pretty trash. Pretty trash,
bro. Like, there's a tightness that comes with being a football player. So
yeah,
yeah, bro. So I think there was my shoulders, bro, from getting hit all the time.
Yeah.
Trying to throw a baseball, like it was all just I had to. Oh snap! I got switched over. Yeah, it was all a learning process, bro, and just a body building process, like being able to be loose enough to swing and throw a baseball, all that other stuff, bro. It took a little bit of time, but I'm getting there.
All right, we're gonna let you get out of here. Once again, thank you for joining us on the Lucky Lefty podcast and Lucky Lefty Nation. We're gonna get you out of here with this or that. All right.
Okay.
The game we play called This or That. Not gonna put you on the spot too much. All right.
Oh snap.
Mookie Betts or Mike Trout?
Mike Trout.
You had to say that, right? You had to.
No.
You had to say that, right?
Mike Trout, the best hitter I've ever seen of all time, bro.
Okay.
Like, I see him live, bro. He's like the best hitter I've ever seen.
All right. Wow. Chocolate chip cookie or oatmeal raisin?
Chocolate chip.
Okay.
Yeah, come on.
Donda or certified lover boy?
Oh, I don't know, bro. I mean, probably CLB, certified lover.
Yeah, I know he was gonna choose that. Okay. You didn't have to fake
Donda was like, all right, like a little bit.
All right, Max Scherzer or Jacob DeGrom?
Ooh,
it's a tough one.
Probably Scherzer, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like Scherzer. Scherzer.
Your favorite spot to eat in South Bend?
South Bend.
JJ's Fish, boy. Hey,
yeah, you like JJ's, man.
JJ's, boy.
That's the second person to mention JJ's Fish, yo.
Hey,
yeah, that's
JJ,
right.
Shout out JJ's.
South Bend is good.
NIL. Let me get that NIL, JJ.
Hey, I'm hitting all the local businesses for support. That's how you do
it. Kirby Puckett or Torii Hunter Sr.?
Kirby Puckett, man. I don't know who that is. Hey, I don't know.
That's messed up.
That's messed
up. What you thought I was gonna say? The PC answer? Nah, Kirby.
So, and we'll end it with this one because this has become like legendary, man. Because if this ends up being 3-0, the best hooper on the Notre Dame football team during your time.
It's a legendary question.
Hey, that is a very legendary question.
We have really a lot of time.
I know I used to lock Malik up. I used to lock up.
But we got to cut the interview off early, man.
I used to lock up Everett. I used to lock up
Oh,
CJ.
my goodness. You see this guy?
So, I mean, if any of those names been called, it's me. It's me. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't know.
Wow.
All right.
Hey,
so
I don't
that's
know
the first vote. That's the first vote we've had for anybody else outside Mike McGlinchey.
Nah, bro. Nah. McGlinchey was McGlinchey was good though. McGlinchey was good.
He definitely is good. Yeah.
But I don't know. The best hooper though, that's wild.
So
Hey, we had a lot of battles, man. A lot of battles at Notre Dame football, man. Roush, whatever
Hey,
you
those
call
are
it.
good times, bro. Good
Torii making
times,
it
bro.
seem like,
Gross.
hey, bro, Tori's making it seem like you could only go left, bro.
Nah, Malik was going to the cup. That's what it was. Malik was going to
Nah,
the cup.
bro. I don't know who you was. I don't know who was guarding you, bro. I don't know who was guarding you, but I was clamped.
That's it.
Locked
We need a
up.
reunion basketball game. We just need
We
to
do.
all the football players
Hey, bro.
come back just to play basketball.
Pick a game next year, bro. I'm coming, bro.
We're gonna have an
That's
annual game every
we
year.
gonna run it. We gonna run it, bro. Pick a game every year, and we just gonna show up and run it.
All right, man. Thank you for playing this or that. Thank you for joining us on the Lucky Lefty podcast, man. We look forward to getting you back on the show sometime during the season.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Invite me back, bro. I'm ready for it. This is fun.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Man, that was fun for Notre Dame wide receiver. Oh, man, you got exposed today, bro.
Man, listen, look, Tori's nice now, too. Let's not forget, Tori's a good hooper. We had a team that could have played the varsity basketball. We could have played tennis. That football team we had at Notre Dame them years, we could have played the whole sports catalog and been champions. So, it was some tough battles, like you said. Now, I definitely cooked him a couple of times. He got some good defense, but I definitely cooked him a couple of times.
Oh, yo, we got some comments. Rex Mike said, hell yeah, JJ's fish.
That's right. That's right.
But the fact that he bookmarked that Florida State game, which was a heartbreaker. I remember that game. I was literally at dinner for my mom's birthday. And you know how I would sneak away. I went to the bathroom the most I've ever gone to the bathroom. I really wasn't going. I was going to the bar, watching the game,
because that was an intense game the whole way through. So I already know.
And so then that Clemson game, of course, heartbreaker. 2015 might be the most talented team Notre Dame's
ever had.
Yeah.
From a want to watch, like you want to watch us, not. Maybe not be the record. We wasn't undefeated in the regular season, but from a want-to-watch team, we definitely was the most exciting.
And you never got to see the full capacity of the team. Because in the first 2 weeks, you and Torri went down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now you got CJ playing out of position. Like if
CJ wouldn't even have been in the league damn near, because we would have never known to put him at running back.
Yeah.
Because we had Josh and Dex, and then we had put CJ over them.
Right.
And it just it's crazy how life works, man. But
But once again, you put him over them because he's a guy you identify as saying, yo, we got to give him the ball.
Give him the ball. Give him the ball.
You got to give him the ball and let that speed,
do his thing.
So, man, thank you for everybody that joined us today. We talked about the Notre Dame offensive line versus the Oklahoma State defensive line. We talked about the talent that exists in Notre Dame. We heard from Mike Mickens, Chris O'Leary talking about recruiting and positionless football. Cam Hart talking about the competitiveness of the practices and how everything has changed and how he thinks they'll be ready from the jump going into the Fiesta Bowl. And then special guest Torii Hunter Jr., former Notre Dame wide receiver. Thank you for joining us once again. Look forward to having them back on the show on the Lucky Lefty podcast. Don't forget, we'll be here tomorrow, same time, and then Friday, special show. We're brought to you and featured by Onora Whisky. Go to OnoraWhisky.com and get some of that premium American whiskey. It's OnoraWhisky.com. When you make the purchase, make sure you post a picture or show the receipt at Lucky Lefty Pod on Twitter or Instagram, or at Overtime Malik on Instagram, or at SD2 Mics. Tag us in it so you can be entered in the drawing to win Fiesta Bowl tickets. The drawing will be on Friday's show. Once again, it is Onora Whisky, that premium American whiskey. Hey, we got to go. It's a bunch of comments. Sorry we couldn't get to them. But we got to
get back to them tomorrow, man.
Yeah, we'll have to hold these over until tomorrow. Hit that subscribe, share, and then make sure you hit that like button. Hit that like button. I'm petty too, because when I see like 98% likes, I'm like, hold on, man. Somebody actually pushed unlike. Like, really?
That's messed up,
That's what
man.
we're doing?
That's
Like,
what
we
we
spin
doing?
it different. We're too lovable for that.
Yeah, you can't do us like that, guys. You can't do us
So,
like
for my
that.
guy, Malik Zaire, we spin it different, and we hope you spin it different in your life today. We'll see you guys tomorrow once again for another episode of the Lucky Lefty Podcast.
All right,
Have a great